Hey Ollie,
Hey Michi, how you doing?
I'm good.
How's your day?
Yes, hanging in there. Lots of teaching right now,
Oh, lots of
but
teaching. Mm,
I can practice a little and
okay.
write something, so that's good. But right now there's no
Uh-huh.
gigs. Oh, I have to mute this. this this guy keeps
Oh,
coming.
okay. Echo.
Yeah, so yeah, but
Get rid of it.
it's all
Okay.
right. So
Yes.
yeah, how about you?
Oh, I had a studio session all day with my friend Michael Hornstein, and
Oh,
I
very
edited
nice.
and mixed our new album.
Ah,
Yes, it's a duo project, saxophone and piano. We've been doing that for 10 years or more. And yeah, we've got a new program, a whole new concert program that we just recorded.
nice. Yeah, you told me about that.
A lot of improv, and it was good that we edited some parts out and concentrated on the best parts of it.
Yeah,
So I expect it to be ready in a couple of weeks.
cool. So it's gonna be released then?
Yeah, we're playing in the Unterfahrt in Munich,
The live stream?
a live stream on 17th of March.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe we get the digital album ready by that time.
Yeah, that's
So you can listen to it on Spotify if you like.
yeah. So that's anyway the way to go right now, right? So it's like printing
Pretty
CDs
much.
is.
Yeah, I mean, there will be a physical album as well, of course.
Mhm.
But at the moment, since you can sell it at your live gigs, it's not that important anymore,
Yeah, that's right. So
obviously.
people can listen to it. You just download it. You don't have to do all the hassle with like printing CDs and store them somewhere.
Right.
Mm.
Actually, for some projects, even vinyl makes sense.
I think
Because
so.
it's just so it's just so nice to hold on to it, right?
And I just like the covers. I like to read something. That's what I miss most with downloads. There's
Hmm.
no credits.
Hmm.
That's the first thing when I grabbed something in the record store. I'm like, okay, so who's playing on it? Yeah,
Right.
what's the band? So this
Hmm.
whole thing is somehow
Right.
gone, right?
Yeah, and it's so disappointing that there are no liner notes anymore, no credits, no inner sleeve that you can pull out. There's nothing there, no information about the musicians, the production, whatever. It's just a little data file actually.
So I think we have to change this when we record our album.
We can change
Maybe,
that for ourselves at least.
yeah. So because it's really sad. I have to look it up. Of course, there's websites where you can look up who
Hmm.
played on that album, maybe. But it's
Right.
it's so nice. You put out the record and you put it on the record player and you read like something in the album.
Hmm.
And this is a whole different listening experience than yeah
Hmm.
putting on your phone and
Yeah, and I mean, vinyl has gotten so good. I don't know if you've listened to a few recent albums on vinyl.
no,
Have you?
I only have all my old stuff.
Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. No, it's got so much better
Oh
in the
really?
old days. Yeah, really. It sounds great.
I'm sure I have to change my the pickup on the on
Oh, okay.
my record player because
The stylus.
it's
Uh-huh.
at least
Uh-huh. Yeah, get a new stylus. That's a treat. Do
I
that.
think so. You have a recommendation? You got like any special one?
There are tons around, and it depends on your model, of course.
Mm. So I don't know. It's like an Audio Technica or something I got. It's not really expensive or something like this.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I should get. I think I should get a new one. Yeah. That's just like at least 20 years I haven't changed that, so
Okay.
I should change it, I guess.
You know you can spend some money on them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But this is a cheap one. It's I've got I have a Czech record player. It's called Project One, and they're not so expensive, but I think they sound really good. They're like yeah. Of course, it's not like real hi-fi, but it sounds good. But I guess I have to change the stylus. Yeah, that makes sense. Mm.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, album time.
Yes.
Guys, album time again. Albums from yesteryear.
Yes.
Fusion albums from yesteryear. Jazz rock, rock jazz, electric jazz, all
Yeah.
those brands that it acquired in a couple of years.
Yes. Like basically, yeah, all instrumental music that inspired us to be musicians, maybe, or
Yes.
to write music or stuff.
Boy, did it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you want to start?
Okay, I'll start. I've got one for you that I'm quite sure you never heard about.
Okay.
It's really worth listening. Did you ever see this?
No. What is JTB?
JTB stands for Jukka Tolonen Band.
Really? Sounds
Really.
great.
A Finnish guitar player, a virtuosic guitar player of his time. Jukka Tolonen was in the, okay, I have to read that, of course. He was in the, well, he was in the most famous Finnish band of the 70s. He was a founding member of Tasavalta Presidentti, which means something like, I mean, my Finnish is very, very basic, non-existent. It means something like presidents of the republic or something like
Okay.
that. Well, Jukka Tolonen Band. And of course, he plays with all the virtuosos from Scandinavia. The guys look like this. So they had an American drummer. His name is Bill Carson. And also someone, Koste Apetrea, is the second guitar player. I guess he's from somewhere in South America. And also this guy. Do you know him?
I don't recognize him, no?
That's Joachim Kuhn on
Oh,
keyboard.
really?
Yeah, really. And the music is elaborate, excellent compositions. And Jukka is a very capable electric and acoustic guitar player. So if you haven't got the chance, listen to him. You can find
Amazing.
him on. You can find the album on Spotify, for example. It's
You have
really
so many gems that I never heard of. It's amazing. That's really cool. Like the stuff that you brought last time. Also, I didn't know like the ABBA guitar player, right? Or so amazing, really nice.
yeah, really.
I think also people get a lot out of it if they watch. There's,
Actually, there's quite a lot of albums from that guy. I think up until let me see. Can I see that here?
I have to check this out.
Check him out.
I never heard of it.
Really worth it. Okay, we don't play any sound samples anymore because we got punished by YouTube.
Yes.
They didn't like that.
Now they have.
They didn't. They even threw us off, which is not nice at all because we played a little sound example of Volker Kriegel last time, and he was the last guy I expected to sue us on a copyright infringement.
Yes. But
But
he was looking down from
yeah,
wherever he is right now.
post mortem.
So he said, "Okay, guys, if you want to play my music, you pay for it." I mean, that's totally fine.
Yeah, it's a pity.
It's totally fine, but it's just I think we try to hip people
Yeah.
to that stuff. So yeah,
Anyway, if you want to listen to this, guys, Michi, anybody out there, my listening tip is Space Cookie.
oh
It's the
yeah,
second track of the album, and it's
check it on
really a
Spotify.
great composition. It's outstanding. It's really
Wow.
outstanding. Listen to that first, and you'll get the hang of it.
I can put the link, the Spotify link on YouTube,
Yeah, you could do that.
and this probably won't hurt anybody. Let's see.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I don't think that'll hurt. So let's do this. Okay. So I'm a little bit embarrassed because all the stuff I usually bring is stuff that anyway everybody knows.
But it's good to be reminded of that stuff. Like last time, you was the one who turned me on to Pat Metheny again.
Yeah, so this,
Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays, and I mean that's a world of its own, right?
yes, I have to. I try not to listen to it so much because I could listen to it like all the time because it's so inspiring because if you keep hearing those compositions, like there's albums where they have like 20-minute pieces, and I don't think you can grasp all of it like in one lifetime because there's so much stuff in it and all the compositional stuff that's going on. So
And the mood is just great.
yeah,
They're not afraid at all to use simple major chords, right?
and also the melodies, it's like everybody. If you try to write something, you're like, oh, I think I can't do that. But I think that's so inspiring because they just write what they like. They don't think about, okay, I don't think I can do this because, well, what they're gonna say, the jazz police, what they're gonna say. So they just didn't care. I think they just tried to really find what's the music I really like. And this is not so easy, I think. Like you keep criticizing. I read something really interesting today on Facebook actually, because we talked about Chick Corea last time, and right after the live stream, I heard he's no longer with us. So today I read a couple of lines from a drummer, which I remember from Boston. He was studying in Boston, and he actually played with Chick a couple of years later. So. And he wrote something really interesting. He said that Chick, when he was composing, he never edits anything. That means he composes, he starts writing the tune, and he never goes back. He just keeps going. And he tries to write the tune in one, like, he doesn't stop. He just keeps writing until it's done. And if he likes it, he keeps it. If he doesn't like it, he just throws it away. He's not going back and say, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that. It's not like oh yeah, I'm gonna change this. So he just discards the whole thing, yeah, and writes another tune.
Okay.
And
I heard him say in an interview, I've heard him say that he edits quite a lot later. So he takes out complete parts or reorganizes them in a different order. He does that.
interesting. So maybe that's yeah. Of course, nobody really knows what he
And
did. So
what he also pointed out is that he like charted the composition out before and then filled it in, right? Like he had a plan, quite artificial. Like I want to have an A part in 7/8, and I want to have an 11/8 break leading into a 3/4 section with kind of an African beat under it. You know what I mean?
like it's like an architect.
And he
He
just
plans out the
filled,
thing before.
yeah, he just filled in ideas and parts into that scheme. So that's quite interesting to do. And for a long time, I thought for myself, I can't and I won't do that. It's too intellectual, too architectural for my thinking. And I tried it out years later, and actually it worked quite well in some places, at least for me. It's not a bad idea.
It's like a technique you can use. Like it helps you organize them, or it also helps you accomplish something. If you have something in mind, sometimes you have a vague idea. Okay, I really would like to write this, yeah. But then you start writing, and it's something completely different comes out. If you just follow your instinct, and so that way you can have some kind of, at least, yeah, you're staying in the ballpark of where you originally intended to go.
I
And
think
this,
you have to keep in mind that Chick Corea has put out tons and tons of compositions. And to help you do that, of course, that's a great idea because, as you said, it gets you started. Otherwise, if you wait for the great inspiration to happen, well, it might happen or not, or 3 weeks later, but that's behind the date. Right?
exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. So Yeah, that it just came to my mind because I thought it's also interesting because I sometimes that happens to me that I write a tune and it's just done. Yeah, I start writing it and it unfolds itself and there it is. Yeah,
Right.
oftentimes
That's the
that's
way
not
it's
the case.
supposed to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the way it's
often
supposed to be. But more often than not, I walk around with just a little idea in my head, and it takes days or even weeks to form. And only when it's clear enough, then I really start working it out.
mm,
Of course, you come up with a intro idea later, or with even a C part, or with whatever, some different chords or something. Of course, but the main idea, the body of the composition, that mostly forms in my mind, even while I'm sleeping. Sometimes I
mm,
dream it, really, literally. I wake up and say, "That's it," and
mm.
I have to get up and write it down, or at least sing it on my iPhone.
Yeah, but still, there's not a lot of things that are greater than that. I think to kind of manifest, okay, what you imagine, how music should sound like, yeah, and you can really at least get close to it. That's really
Yeah.
fun. Like it feels so great to, I have stuff lying around like this, and yeah, and then this is lying there for at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks
Yeah.
or whatever, and I just have it there. I just keep it there, and then at some point, yeah, there it is.
Okay, that's my sketchbook, and it all looks like that.
Uh,
Page after page after page. It's just ideas and riffs and whatever. You
mm,
know. Okay, here's one. Yeah, that's illusions.
wow,
Illusions idea. Okay, which I call Dreamweaver a little later.
I
It's one of the
see.
new compositions for Groove
Cool.
Galaxy.
Uh, so I enjoy writing. Yeah, it's like I mean writing down. Yeah,
Hmm.
so I try to I like a nice piece of paper to.
Yep.
It's something that yeah I feel that's
Yeah. It's
enjoyable really.
it's those two sides, the graphic overview of it, and on the other side, and as I've pointed out earlier, really working it out just by ear,
Mm,
like a demo. But I like to work on a demo because I see, okay, where can I take it? It's not abstract, not an abstract idea on paper, but totally real. Okay, what do you want the Rhodes to play, or what do you want the bass player to play?
right.
What do you want the drums to sound like? Is the tempo right, or maybe two beats faster?
Mm,
Right?
yeah, I mean but it's really an enjoyable process and
Hmm.
even better if other people also like it. Then I think that's the best part. Yeah, so you play something and people enjoy listening to it. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, I come up with my first album. Let's see which one do I.
Please.
Okay,
I'm waiting on it.
of course you know all of them. I guess I'm sure you know this one.
Ah, Target. Yeah.
I really like this one.
Well, Tom Scott.
Um, Target is a great piece. I think it's a really
Hmm.
great piece. You
Hmm.
know it, right?
Of course.
It's in 3/4, and it has such a great horn arrangement. I think, and that's also something I really like. Like the horn arrangement is killer.
Hmm.
I think I don't know how many horns they have. It's like a 5-piece brass section or something. One, two, three.
Probably one of those
Yeah,
American giant sections.
yeah, of course, Jerry Hay and all the guys. Ernie Watts again. Yeah, and so they even have a bass trombone, but the usual guys. Yeah, Jerry Hay and the section. Yeah, Bill, Bill
Bill
Reichenbach.
Reichenbach, of course.
So all the guys. Yeah.
Uh,
And of course, Paul Jackson Jr. on guitar, which is
mhm.
just also, and Carlos Rios. Yeah. So Paul Jackson Jr. I just want to point out because he's such an amazing guy. Uh, he's such a great rhythm player. I think he's maybe the most accomplished rhythm guitar player there
Mhm.
is. Like, there's not a
Mhm.
lot who can like.
Mhm.
Um, there's also an excellent video. Did you ever see that? Did you see his instruction
No,
video?
no.
It's amazing.
Uh-huh.
It's on his YouTube channel. I'm gonna post a link because this is just amazing. Yeah, because he's talking just about playing rhythm, and this it's really funny to look at him, and the stuff he comes up with is just unreal. Yeah, so he's of course I'm sure he checked out a lot of this stuff before, but it's yeah, he makes it look so easy, and the rhythm part, like he really finds really small spots. You know, it's really busy stuff. You know, the horn section, and there's two keyboard players and two guitar players.
Oh.
But he will find that spot where you're like, oh yeah, there it is. There's the little fill, and so that's why. I mean, of course, I enjoy Tom Scott's playing, but since I'm a guitar player, I really enjoy Paul Jackson Jr.'s playing. It's just crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
really
for
nice.
some reason with guitar players, there's still that division between the great soloists and the great rhythm players. I played with some guys like Royke White. He's unfortunately he died a few years ago, and he was really both worlds. He was an excellent rhythm player and an excellent soloist. But that's kind of rare. For some reason, there's still this you know
Yeah, it's also
difference.
um, yeah, one of my favorite jazz guitar players is Bruce Foreman. He keeps telling everybody that it's just a how do you say, a conspiracy theory to keep guitar players dumb. Yeah, that there's a rhythm player and a lead player. Yeah, so there's no such thing as a keyboard rhythm player
Of course not.
or a lead drummer.
Hmm.
So this only happens on guitar, right? Of course, a lead trumpet, okay, and
Hmm.
alto, lead alto, but still, um, yeah. So
I guess it comes from the old rock and roll bands, where only one guitar player was able to play a good solo. And it's maybe kind of a natural thing in rock bands that have two guitar players that well, one is the celebrated soloist, and the other one is capable of keeping the rhythm while that guy solos or so. Maybe that was the origin of it, but of course it's bullshit.
hmm,
In
yeah,
modern times, any good guitar player plays convincing solos. And of course, he's very capable of playing rhythm guitar.
yeah. So, but this thinking is still really strong. Like when I teach, it's really strong that you know, okay, this is chords and this is a scale.
Hmm.
It's two different things. For a keyboard player, okay, there's a chord and the scale is right there around the chord, right?
Right, but even for keyboard players, there's a kind of problem that exists with some. Some have a very good phrasing when they play melodies, and actually a lot of them don't. I don't
Hmm.
know why that is, but a lot of pianists don't really have a good melodic feeling. Not really. Um, a lot of them are excellent with harmonies, with chord structures, and there's also this thing. Not every keyboard player is good rhythmically.
Hmm.
Actually, a lot of them play too fast. Right? They're always ahead of the beat,
Yeah. Mm.
which doesn't sound good. Um, and the melodic thing is something special. Even if they can play fast solos really well, their phrasing might not be really convincing. You
Mm.
know, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know why that is.
I don't
I
know.
think a lot of melody players, born natural melodic players, um, don't tend towards piano. They tend towards maybe violin or tenor or whatever, you know.
That's also something I think about. Sometimes it's like, how do you choose your instrument, right? It's also very interesting. Like
Mm-hmm.
what draws you to that instrument? And of course, everybody is convinced that his instrument is the real
Hmm.
instrument because yeah, that's why he chose it. So
Hmm.
interesting,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
And it's also the attack. It's the
yeah.
attack with the keyboard players and the guitar players as well. Guitar players that can't really play a melody that holds its own, I realized often play too hard. They simply
Mm-hmm.
play too hard, and that makes it stiff.
Mm-hmm.
It takes the melody out of the melody. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have a feeling. The notes are right, but there's this inherent flow. It's just not there. And it's the same with keyboard players. A lot of keyboard players, they just hit the keys too hard all the time.
Okay.
They they tend to pound, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pounding, especially in a band. They always think they have to pound to be heard and to be loud.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, listen to jazz players. A lot of them grew up with bands with a piano that was not amplified, and they had to play against a loud drummer. And the tenor player is much louder than the pianist, and so they tend to right. It always sounds like plinky plinky plinky.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You don't really get the whole like
mhm.
thing, like the whole dynamic spectrum of the instrument, right?
Yeah, right. Even if you're too soft in general, but
Mm-hmm.
still you can't destroy your melody, your phrasing, your the sound of your instrument even. I mean, the piano tone even, you know how it is with an acoustic piano. The tone breaks up. The tone breaks up if you hit it too loud. If you hit it too hard, there's no sound there anymore.
It's just like on
Just
the
ding
guitar, yeah.
ding ding ding
Yeah.
ding, right?
In that
Yeah.
respect, anyway, the piano and the guitar, they are similar. It's all string instruments, and you hit them somehow. Yeah,
I
it's
think the
more.
touch is very important
Mm,
on both instruments, guitars
yeah,
and pianos. It's really important for the whole to get the whole idea across of what you want to say.
yeah. And that's also something I have to constantly remind myself that anyway, if you like you go out and play, the first thing people realize, does this sound good? Like does this instrument sound good? Yeah, is it something I like to hear? So it doesn't matter which notes you play, yeah,
Hmm.
or which tune you play. It doesn't matter. So do I like this sound? And for me, it's the same thing. If I hear something and I don't like the sound of it, yeah, it's not like okay, which pedal does he use, but in general, which sound does he create? Like he create on that instrument? I think that's number one always.
Hmm.
So if I don't like the sound, it's like okay, there must be something else that really can compensate that lack of beauty of the sound. I think, yeah.
Right. Speaking of melody players,
Okay,
I've got one for you that you probably didn't think of.
okay. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know that live album?
No.
Jean-Luc Ponty was at the climax of his career at that time, and he
Hmm.
had a boy did he have a band. The guys are so great. Um, there's an excellent keyboard player on it, Alan Zabot. Did you ever check that guy out?
No.
He was great in the 70s.
Wow.
Did excellent synth work with his ARP 2600 semi-modular synth, and there are two guitars on it, Jamie Glazer and Joaquin Levano.
I've never heard of them.
Wonderful guitar players,
Wow.
and they play together like one.
Okay. Amazing. I have to check that.
Really exciting,
I'm gonna see if there's.
wonderful sound, and well, you know Jean-Luc Ponty, of course. He has a lot of energy in his violin playing.
Hmm,
Um,
I need to
he's
find that. Uh,
mhm. He's
that's
definitely a classical player. You can hear that.
yeah, but
I think
that's great
he
because
was.
sometimes if like if people improvise on violin, if they're classical players, sometimes it's like yeah, okay, it's not really there,
Yeah, I told you
or
yeah, right.
or it
With Jerry
lacks.
Goodman, I told you there are very few violin players I can listen to. But he's definitely one of them.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I'm the first time I got into him was there's a much later in the late '80s, I guess, is a trio album with Stanley Clarke and El Di Meola.
Hmm.
It's called The Rite of Strings,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Well,
and it's purely acoustic. So I remember that I listened to that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was yeah. So that was way later, of course. This is like mid 70s or something, right? When did it came out?
This is kind of no, 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 no. It's 79, yes.
79.
79.
Yeah. So the other recording is, I guess, at least 10 years later. So that's already a whole different story, because this is electric, right? It's like electric fusion.
Totally
Yeah.
electric. There's a
Yeah.
lot of sound going on here. Courtesy of Alan Zabot, of course, but the two guitars do a lot of things
Mm,
on the sides that really fill out the mix, fill out the spectrum. And Jean-Luc Ponty used to play with a lot of effects at that time.
mm,
There's a lot of delay and phasing and all kinds of guitar effects that he
mm.
used. So yeah, there's really a lot to listen to. Good
Oh yeah.
compositions.
I think he always played with guitar players, right?
He always played with guitar players, and I guess a lot of what he played, he lifted from guitar players, phrasing, everything.
Mm. Yeah, but it's interesting that yeah. I don't know why I'm thinking that it's he would probably choose a piano player to come for him or something, because the
Mm-hmm.
guitar is similar, maybe more similar than. But anyway, he has two guitar players on the album. That's astonishing.
Uh-huh. It sounds more European than
Okay.
the American groups. It
Mm,
definitely has a sort of European vibe to it,
mm,
and even a little bit of electronic music vibe.
mm-hmm,
So it's a little straighter. It doesn't rely so much on funk cliches or rock.
mm-hmm. Interesting.
A little ethno vibe, a little yeah, electronic music vibe.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting. Now I have to check him out again, because I think there's also an album where Scott Henderson plays, like a later, and yeah, he had a lot of interesting um, like corporations, or how do you say, like collaborations. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I have to go back and listen to that. So now's the time to listen to music, guys. Right? So that's the best thing you can do. Okay, I'll try something. Actually, one of my favorite, yeah, I don't know, piano players in the like not straight ahead jazz field is Joe Sample.
Hmm.
So you can already
Yeah.
see that this is more 80s stuff.
What's on it? I think I know the album. What's on it?
It's called Spellbound, and there's uh, it's called
7 Years
7
of
of
Bad
Good
Luck.
Luck.
Is that on that album?
Sorry,
7 Years of Bad
exactly.
Luck.
That's the first
That,
tune.
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I really like his playing a lot. He has a very special attack on the piano. I think he plays quite hard, I think,
He
but it's
does.
but it's really like
He
this
does. Hmm.
staccato like phrasing
Right. Hmm.
is something I really enjoy here.
He
Yeah.
really, yeah, he really parted from classical playing because the whole legato idea is totally gone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He really dug into that New Orleans thing, right? There's a
Right. I think that's his roots also, I think.
yeah, this vibe. That was very much his thing. And at the same time, he's a really interesting jazz player. There's a track with Chaka Khan, for
Mhm.
example, on
Mhm.
one of her albums where they play "Don't Go to Strangers,"
Mhm.
that one, and his
Mhm.
chords are fantastic. I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
great voicings, man. Yeah, but his solo playing is always staccato and only single notes and like really
Yeah.
like this, right?
But this is something really. I think he's got this groove, and also this melodic thing
Yeah,
going on that
totally
I
on the
really
beat.
enjoyed it. So
Mm-hmm.
this is there's another album which is kind of around the same time, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
where El Giro is on
Mm-hmm.
and Take Six is singing and stuff like that. So here's a couple of songs. This is not here. Oh no, this is the one. Somehow Our Love Survives.
Mm-hmm.
Who's is this the one who's singing there? Uh, oh no, that's the one actually. Yeah, and U Turn. That's the one with Take Six. No, this the right one. Yeah. So it's it's not hard to listen to. This is not
No, it's no,
fusion.
no.
This is really easy
I would
listening.
even call it easy listening, more or
Totally,
less.
it totally is. Yeah,
But
but
it's very
it's so well.
inspiring.
Yeah, it's so well done. Yeah, and of
Right.
course the guys, it doesn't get much better. It's Marcus Miller on bass and Omar Hakim and Michael Landau. So this is another
Mm-hmm.
guy. Like he's one of the,
Right.
of
Mm-hmm.
course, one of the studio cats,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and one of the guys who can, yeah, who can do the sound thing.
Uh-huh. The songs are quite simple and accessible.
Yeah,
They're based on simple chord progressions and a good motive that's really memorable.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, also the production, of course, is like there's also Jerry Hay again, of course, on trumpet. No, he does additional synth arrangements here.
Yeah, at that time yeah, at that time that was still they had different guys programming the synths. That
Amazing.
was the time. Well, that's gone. But actually, that was my start in the Munich the Munich studio scene.
Oh,
They
really?
they hired, yeah, I was very young, and they hired me as a synth programmer because I was from the young generation, so I was a native synth synth artist, and there were
Amazing.
some of the older guys played the part, and I programmed the synth for him.
Oh, come on. So
Yeah,
what
really.
exactly?
Yeah.
What is? I have really no idea. So what exactly would they ask you to do?
At that time, the DX7 came up.
Yeah.
Here's one. The DX7 came up, and the DX7 actually is quite complicated to program. I have to admit that I don't know if you have an idea how it works. Well, basically, it's an FM synth, so there's a carrier signal that gets modulated by another signal, but that happens in algorithms, um, like a signal modulating a carrier signal, or two different operators modulating another operator modulating a carrier.
That's way too complicated for a guitar player. I
It's
would never manage it,
it's
I
quite
guess.
complicated, yes, because it's really if you don't know what you're doing, it's very unpredictable what's coming out of it.
Okay.
And most of the guys only stuck to the fabulous presets that were in the keyboard, but after a while, there were only a handful of presets that you heard over and over again on every production. So they came up with the idea, well can you can we get that E piano but brighter or with more attack or softer or whatever? And they didn't know how to do that. Or I need a convincing lead sound, but there's only one there's only one there. So can you can you help us out? Okay,
Wow.
okay, and so I helped them out first. That was my introduction into Munich's still blooming studios at that time. And of course, if you're young, after a while you get a chance to play,
Hmm.
right? There's always a second and third production that's
Hmm.
not as important as the first one, and so they check you out.
Hmm.
And well, yeah, but
So
even with analog synths, you should think that after like 10 years of analog synths or so, the studio players at that time knew their way around it. But most of them,
oh
no way.
really?
They never wrapped their head around a Prophet 5, for example. And I had a Prophet 5,
Okay.
and I knew it inside out, of course. So yeah, good for me.
Yeah. So would they also ask you to copy sounds from different recordings
Yeah,
or
of
yeah?
course. Yeah.
That's how they did it probably, right?
How can we get that sound? Actually, it was just a string sound with a different attack or something. It wasn't that hard.
I bet a lot of guys still don't know how to do that. I don't think there's so many people who can really do
Right.
that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So really,
Um,
maybe if somebody is interested in that, I would be really curious how that works. Like maybe you at some point you have you wanna demonstrate just one thing or something. That would be cool, I think.
yeah, we can do that. Not right now,
Yeah,
but
of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll prepare a little bit of it, and yeah, if
Oh,
you're
we have a
interested,
question actually.
I'll show you guys some some
Yeah.
cool tricks on it, or some basics even.
We have a question from Ralph.
Hey, Ralph.
Hey,
So,
Ralph.
okay.
Ralph's are Biden. Sorry, if I'm. Where are you from, Ralph? Tell us where you're from. He says, "Hey guys, can you tell me how to stay motivated to practice in COVID-19 times?" That's not really
Sure,
an easy question. Yeah.
sure.
I can tell you something what I do. Um, I'm actually motivated to practice because I have so much stuff that I wanted to practice forever, and I never get the chance to. So now I can barely scratch the surface, but
Huh.
I I try. Of course, I'm a positive guy. I think, yeah, and I try to stay positive. It's even though it's hard sometimes, but it's really. Oh, he's from Latvia. Very interesting. Yeah.
Latvia.
But the thing is that um, I just enjoy right now to practice stuff that I really wanted to get done for at least 10 years. I bought this this video 10 years ago. It's about like legato playing, and I never touched it. It
Hmm.
was 10 years on my hard drive because
Hmm.
there was no time to do it. I always had stuff, I usually have 2 to 3 shows per week coming up, and I have to practice that stuff. So I have to play that. Yeah. So there's not too much time to really expand on this or this or this because I have to concentrate on my projects.
Hmm.
So that's what I enjoy. I just enjoy, um, yeah, finding new stuff. And there's so much stuff out there right now. You just have to concentrate. I think. Don't, yeah, just start 10 different things on day one, and then
Hmm.
change to another 10 days on day two. Just stick with it. I stick with this really like not every day, but since March last year, I try to play that stuff,
I
and
see.
slowly it's coming out.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So
Okay, for me it's two sides.
okay.
One side is the strict technical side. And why I keep doing that, even at my age, when a lot of people don't do that anymore, and I know that, why I keep doing this is I want to make my hands feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when my hands feel good. And I have a certain routine. I have certain, I wouldn't say tricks, but maybe I do some stuff that other people don't. I don't know because I'm self-taught. Anyway, I know when I do that for like half an hour, my hands will feel good.
Mm.
And that's really a motivation. It's not a chore at all to do that, but I simply enjoy that. You wouldn't believe it if you saw me doing that, even with a metronome in my ear, and you would think, oh man, that guy, bah. And it's exactly the opposite. I really enjoy doing it, but of course it serves a certain purpose because after that I go into playing music.
Mm.
I don't want to sit down and practice technique all day. That would make me feel like a robot, and I don't want that. It all serves the purpose of music, and that's just here. I really like the sound of certain things, and that's why I dig into that. Like a chord like this. It's got a great sound. It's open, and you can do such a lot with it. What do you do with it? Okay, and I try to come up with stuff that I hear, right? What can you play over that chord? And so it's like, okay. Okay. And now what could follow after that chord is the next question that I ask myself. What? Okay, and that opens up such a world, right? It's really, I mean, I could do that all day because I just enjoy what I hear. Okay, and then maybe. Okay, so I found something, and I just expand on it. I do it again. Okay, right.
Well,
Keeps me
really
occupied for half an hour.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, those two sides, I think it's really interesting. So first of all, you have to, of course, get your technique together, so you can play something. So you can play whatever you want.
Yeah, you have to feel loose, right? You have to feel relaxed
Yeah,
first.
and I always also I try to make music when I play. So I try to keep the exercises really low. Yeah. So of course I try to learn new stuff and yeah. But as soon as I get the hang of it, I try to make music. And I also, just like you, I think the most important thing is get out of the mechanical stuff as soon as possible. Try to use your ear. Try to like follow your ear what you want to hear, and don't. I'm not a big fan of too much mechanical exercises because I really believe that the way you practice is also the way you play on stage. So if you practice always mechanical stuff, that's just the way you're gonna sound on stage. So I wanna make music, yeah. So I practice music, and I use my ear to find stuff, yeah, and put on a chord progression or find a chord progression on guitar and yeah. So that's
For example, it can be a rhythm too,
oh yeah.
or whatever. A while ago, I liked to practice like quintuplets and seven tuplets.
Tuples, yeah.
What's the correct? What's the correct
I only
expression?
read about it.
Right? So you.
Yeah.
Like like that, right?
Very,
Play that over a rhythm and try to keep the tempo straight.
yeah.
Of course it's a challenge, it's an exercise, but you can do it in a musical way and it really inspires you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Ralph. He just said, "Yeah, I totally agree with you. We all need to stay musical. We don't have to be robots. The main key is music, of course. Yeah, I think so. So it's there's so much. Yeah, of course, it's that music we play is meant to be played together. It's not meant to be played alone. Yeah? But still, there's so much. I think this is a really great time to explore. Yeah, I don't know if we ever have so much time to practice again. Because
Well,
right when we go back to like our usual stuff, it's there's less time to explore stuff. So, and we have so much stuff to explore right now. You have YouTube and you have so many guys you can check out. But yeah, music is the key. I think playing tunes, listening to people, transcribing something. Yeah, that's I think the key thing. But it's great that we have some guests today. And some people are watching live. That's cool. First time we get questions actually. So just if you have questions,
just keep
maybe
on.
it's also hey,
Yeah,
maybe
keep on asking. Come on.
yeah. So he's yeah. You're interested in Kemper presets, of course, yeah. But I know that.
Kemper presets.
It's yeah. Of course, it's the same thing with programming a synth. Yeah, it's how you get sound out of this. You know, some
Yep.
people say, "Oh, the Kemper sounds, the amp sounds much better than the Kemper, of course." And the Kemper, whatever modeling stuff sucks. I mean,
Well, they're all tools. They're all tools, and you can do a lot with them.
so it's like a
You just have
DX7.
to
It's
find
not,
out.
yeah, the
Yeah,
DX7
you
is not
just
a
have.
piano. Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can
you just
program
have to.
stuff.
Yeah, well, piano is just a tool as well, at least to a certain extent.
Of
It's
course.
always finding a. It's always about finding the strengths of every instrument, every amp or synth or whatever. There isn't such thing. There is no such thing as a bad synth. They're all good for something.
You have to find what they're good for.
The
Yeah.
question is if they suit your music or not.
And that's the most important thing. I hear 95% the player.
Yeah.
Then it's the
Anyway,
sound. Of course,
right,
that's maybe contradicting what I
right.
said before.
Which
Yeah.
brings me to my third album.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, our bass player, Patrick
Yes.
Scales. He plays in Passport, but this is Passport of yesteryear, of course. And this is with Dieter Petereit, I think, on bass.
Hmm.
He's inner sleeve. Good. That was just advertisement. Yeah, Dieter Petereit on bass. It has who else? Willy Ketzer on drums,
Hmm.
and Roy and Elmer Lewis at that time. Those two
Okay.
guys were in Munich. Roy Lewis guitar, Elmer Lewis percussion. Guillermo Marchena, a wonderful singer and percussion player.
He had one hit, right?
Yeah,
I remember.
he died decades back. Yes. Um, yeah, and a wonderful keyboard player that I lost track of. His name is Hendrik Schaper.
Okay.
I don't know what he's doing today, but actually, I wanted to play a wonderful example of his solo playing on Minimoog.
Hmm.
There's a beautiful solo on it. On
I
the
see if I
tracks,
can find it.
yeah, on the track Sky Blue, like from 1 minute 50 or so. If you have a chance, check it out.
There it is. It is on YouTube actually. On Spotify. If anybody has Spotify, I will post a link of that tune. Maybe you want to listen to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've read that Passport at that time. I think that was the follow-up to Iguazu.
I got that one. I got Iguazu.
Hmm. That they got a lot of flack from the jazz community for
Okay.
using too many electronic sounds, too many synths. You know,
You can get that
well,
any
we've
day.
all heard that before. We've all been through that before, even,
Yes.
didn't we?
What do you mean? That's
Yeah,
not this.
yeah. Well, the jazz community claimed that Klaus Doldinger is going a too commercial path. Um, but actually, the melodies and the playing on that album, the compositions and the production for that time as well is outstanding. It's a
Hmm.
really good album. And of course, Klaus Doldinger was seeking commercial success, but per se, there's nothing wrong with that as long as the music doesn't suffer.
Of course. I really enjoy Iguazu. That's the one I got.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I got that one too. It's
Yeah.
nice to, yeah. But
I
I thought
really
that.
enjoyed that. I haven't listened to it in a long time. Yeah, but I remember really enjoying it. Yeah. So that was a great time. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, of course, there's nothing wrong with yeah, trying to make music for a lot of people who like it. Yeah, of course,
Hmm.
that's something that's if you compose something, yeah, and some people have the tendency to compose like more stuff that's easier to listen to. Some
Yeah.
people try to, yeah, that's what they hear in their head. Yeah,
Hmm.
so there's nothing bad about okay somebody who he just wants to write that. That's totally fine. Yeah. So whatever comes out. Yeah. Ah, passport. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I will
Passport.
finish up. Of course, this is also something that yeah, has to come at some point. He's just the master. Yeah. He's George Benson,
Ah, the man himself.
and this is maybe an album that not so many people hear. It's called "Living Inside Your Love." Talk
I don't
about
know that one.
commercial success. But
Hmm.
I mean, the cover is just awesome, right? It's just
Talk about commercial.
something else. This is I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Uh,
But that's the guy. He's just like a lot of people gave him a hard time
man,
about.
man, that suit. Man, that suit and the shoes. What do you think about it?
That's why I love albums.
Whoa.
It's just amazing. Yeah. But he plays his ass off.
Hmm.
He's just one of the absolute stellar guitar player,
Yeah, an
out
iconic
of
player.
this world.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he can play over, like, there's a couple of albums where he plays so out. Yeah, but
Hmm.
it's on smooth jazz radio because it has like
Hmm.
there's one album produced by Bluey from Incognito, and it has, yeah, nice harmonies and smooth group, and he's just,
Hmm.
it's, you wouldn't believe what he plays on it. It's just
Hmm.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
know.
so also it's just, I mean, he's singing a lot, but I think this album everybody should listen to.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's got a great band. Of course, he always has the same band. He has Ronnie Foster on keyboards like all the time. That's his keyboard player. I heard that he's once I heard that story where um, at least he claimed that he was one of the first guys who had two keyboard players in the band. So, and everybody was like, "What do you mean, another keyboard player?" I don't understand. So he had one guy playing acoustic piano and clavinet, and the other guy playing Rhodes and mini moog and stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
there you got your division. As with guitar players, um, at that band, at that time at least, it was quite common gr- for really big ensembles to have two keyboard players, but one on acoustic piano and the other one playing synths or maybe organ.
uh,
Depends on the style, of course.
I have a good question now. Bimi is asking. We could do a Groove Galaxy favorites playlist on Spotify.
Of course.
We could do that, right?
Right, we
We can
could do
put
that.
this stuff together on Spotify and
Right. And
we
uh,
could like expand every
right,
week.
gradually add up. Hmm.
That would be really nice. Hey, we do that. Yeah. Anybody else is interested? We have we have a couple of people watching actually. Amazing. So just let us know. Anyway, you can ask
Nice.
questions anytime. Just interrupt us. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Actually, we do this for us, but we also do this for you. So it doesn't matter. You can ask anything. Yeah, that we might be able to answer.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's the division of the two kinds of keyboard players, right? That's interesting. I never thought
Yes.
about it, but
Hmm.
that's yeah.
And that division actually exists. There's no way denying it, because you have a lot of guys coming from a classical vein, and they're typical piano players, and a lot of them really don't know their way
Mm,
around
of
synths.
course.
You could say that. You could say that. They can even be problematic sometimes in a groovy band, the classical players, because unfortunately they're brought up with a lot of melodic playing, as I pointed out earlier, but no rhythmic playing at all.
Mm,
And they tend to play too much, especially with their left hands, and their timing might go like this. Of course, this is generalizing. This is
mm,
it's not, no there's no way you can stick that to every piano player. That's not how I've meant that. But you know
of
what I mean,
course. Yeah.
right? And there's the other fraction, that's the synth players, and maybe that's how I got in, because they regarded me as a synth player.
Hmm.
And there weren't many synth players at that time, but a lot of piano players.
Okay.
And I know that it took the scene in Munich a while to realize that I actually am a piano player more than a synth player. But you know how it is. You got your role and you have to stick to it.
Kind of, yeah. But of course, it's the greatest thing is if people figure out you're versatile, you can do all kinds of things. That
Sure.
makes it valuable, of course, and that's why you're such a.
Right. Actually, for me, it's kind of one and the same, to be honest. It's just a different instrument in front of me, but it's the same notion in my head. If
Yeah,
I'm playing a synth line or if I'm playing piano, it's always about some music that I have in mind, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's. But I also heard that it's difficult for some people. For me, it's also sometimes people ask me, so how can you switch from jazz guitar to nylon string and then you play whatever a Strat or something?
mhm.
Or yeah, for me it's just a guitar. I don't think about it.
Well, I know some guitar players who can, so the question is valid.
Yes, and so I don't know. I just don't think about it. I just play the guitar. Yeah, it's a different thing. Of course, if you think about it, oh man, oh wow, the strings, they are now closer together, and now I have to do this. But as soon as you start thinking about it, I mean, of course, you know how that thing works. You played it like a bunch of times, so it's no big deal. You played nylon string. Of course, I played not lots of nylon string, and also I played lots of Western guitar. But
for guitar players, it can be quite hard, I guess, because of the different touch, right? I mean,
of course, it also depends on the music. Like usually, if you're not gonna, you're not gonna play whatever ECD, and then you switch to a Segovia piece. You're not gonna do that. It's not that.
Yeah, well,
it's a little bit more. There's not such a gap usually.
As a tour musician, you sometimes have to. When you played at my house, the Come to My House concert, you brought an interesting guitar with you, that gypsy guitar.
Yes.
A gypsy guitar of yours. And that has a really hard action, right?
Not really.
I found it quite hard, but I'm obviously not a versatile guitar player.
I mean, the thing is, the action is not extremely high. Yeah. The problem is really the right hand technique on gypsy guitar. It's so different, so you get the sound.
Yeah, but see, there you got it.
That's a different thing. So this is really, but of course, it's you have to know like how to get the sound out of this special guitar, and I'm sure for some people it takes longer to get used to that than for others. Yeah. So if I have to do that, I just try not to think about it.
It's difficult for piano players to adapt to the house piano. Sometimes that's really on the border to impossible.
That's a hard thing to you rarely can play.
It can be hard at times.
Well, we got more questions.
Yay! What is it?
Let me tell my story. Maybe you can give me some advice. I'm 18 years old at the time. I'm studying in music middle school in the pre-last course. Recently, me with my Fusion album released our first album. Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of advice are you looking for? He's writing jazz fusion. Cool. Yeah. So if you want business advice, maybe I'm not the.
That's the hardest part of obviously. There is no business.
That's why we're sitting here and talking. Yeah. So, but anyway, just shoot out the questions. So we also, of course, we write our own music, and it's it's challenging to like the business aspect of it, of course, but
very challenging.
But I think it's of course there's now this outlet where you can at least know what we are doing and that we exist, and maybe we never expected that we have the chance to like present our stuff to like people from Latvia. That's interesting. Yeah, you mean advice for the future? Yeah. My advice for the future is play as much music together. Like try to get play any way you can with your band. Yeah, don't stay at home. Just try to go out and play. I think that's the best. If you really like, if you want to be a musician or you have a band, the most important thing is go out and play. Yeah, don't sit at home and try wait until somebody calls you, because that might not happen. So try to get in touch with people. Try to I always wanted to play. Yeah, I try to form small rehearsal bands. Maybe we only meet in somebody's rehearsal room and we just work on music and play music, and usually something comes out of it. Yeah, and so you meet, and then this guy brings this guy in, and then this guy, and then suddenly this guy is like, oh, I need a guitar player for this project. Do you want to play? And so stuff happens. Yeah, it doesn't happen.
That's how you get in the scene, right? My advice would also be record your gigs, but if you do, listen to them after at least a week's time. Really get a certain distance to it and try to listen to it from just a listener's standpoint. So no ego in it, you know? Cancel that out completely and just listen to it. Imagine yourself being in the audience at that gig, and try to find out which parts you'd have enjoyed and why.
That's really good advice, I think. To really check your stuff before you let it also out to a larger audience.
Yeah, of course. Right.
So
Yeah, right. Don't judge yourself so much, but try to just listen to your own music from a distance, like like any listener who just dropped into the club because, well, he was around.
yeah, right.
And what he have hear? What would he have heard? What would he have seen? Maybe what would have been his imagination of that band? And that's how you get into the strengths of your music, and then you can cultivate that and base your further compositions and your playing on that. Right.
Really interesting. Yeah. Nice. Well, so we are already over 65
Yeah.
minutes into it.
Right.
Um, but we continue next week. So if
I
anybody's
think so.
into it, we're on every Thursday around 9 p.m. European time. Yeah.
Hmm.
So 9
Okay.
p.m. Munich time.
Okay, so let's see what we can come up with next week.
Yes.
If it's album time again or anything else, or
Maybe
maybe
we
you just ask me if I want to demonstrate a little synth technique. Maybe I'll do that, or whatever. We'll see. We'll
maybe
let
you
you
guys
know.
have some requests. Just let us know if we can do something.
Sure,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
sure.
It's all about whatever is comes up in our music. Yeah, be it equipment or also musical questions, whatever. Yeah, but that would be nice. Talk about a synth. I would be into that. Let's see. Yeah.
Hey, you're a guitar player. Come on.
Yeah, I was sitting next to this huge Moog from Eberhard, Schöner, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So and I every time I saw that, I was wondering, well, how would anybody understand how to deal with that? That's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. At that time, nobody really understood it.
Probably.
And, and of course, that system, a Moog modular system, is very temperamental, believe me. So it's really unpredictable.
I remember the rehearsals. Oh no, why is this not working?
Yeah, that's a different beast altogether from your digital synth.
Okay.
Very exciting, though.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, okay.
guys.
So
Thanks for watching.
call it a night.
Yes.
See you next time. All
Yes.
right, guys.
Take care.
Bye bye.